How you doing then? All right, are you? Now look, Squire, you're the governor here, I can see that. I'm on your manor now, so there's no need to get your knickers in a twist. Whatever this bollocks is that's going down between you and that slave Valentine, it's got nothing to do with me. I couldn't care less, all right, mate? Let me explain to you. When I was in prison, second time, no, tell a lie, third stretch. Yeah, third. There was this screw what really had it in for me, and that geezer was top of my list. 2 years after I got sprung, I sees him in Olive Park. He's sitting on a bench feeding bloody pigeons. There was no one about. I could have gone up behind him and snapped his fucking neck. Wallop. But I left it. I could have nobbled him, but I didn't. Because what I thought I wanted wasn't what I wanted. What I thought I was thinking about was something else. I didn't give a toss. It didn't matter, see? This Burke on the bench wasn't worth my time. It meant sod all in the end, because you've got to make a choice. When to do something and when to let it go. When it matters and when it don't. Bide your time. That's what prison teaches you, if nothing else. Bide your time and everything becomes clear, and you can act accordingly.
There's one thing I don't understand. The thing I don't understand is every motherfucking word you're saying.
Chris Scalzo here with
Matt Howell.
On this episode of The First Run, Matt and I are going to take out our kitty cat bracelets. We're bringing them out of storage to watch the latest adventure of the Mansell family as they try and take a vacation and end up getting into all kinds of wacky trouble. Then Ari Aster returns with Eddington, the story about, well, a story that maybe serves no one. Or possibly is a hilarious satire about COVID and our deep divides. A story we didn't even know maybe we needed. And then I'm going to spend a few minutes, Matt, playing the Chris Pratt Shut the Fuck Up Challenge. All that and more on this episode of The First Run. Let's start everything off with a clip from Nobody 2.
Liking the new look really suits you, Abel. You kidnapping puto.
Cute.
You really lit a fuse when you did that.
No. I think you did that. The moment you underestimated me. See, I've been pushed around for long enough. So from now on, I'm the fucking man. And this is my fucking town. So give me your guns, walk in front of me back to the car, and maybe I'll get you out of this. Maybe.
What if we say no?
All hell breaks loose.
Yeah,
we'll take that.
Yeah.
Matt, I just realized, too, that my opening does not mention at all what the title of this film is.
It doesn't.
I don't even mention Bob Odenkirk's actual character's name, Hutch, as well, right? So, but it's Hutch Mansell. So there you go. But of course, we're talking about Nobody 2, which I at least was smart enough to introduce when I started playing the clip. Matt, what is it all about? I should say, too, just to cut you off one more time, the reason why I'm so scattered is this is the third or fourth time we tried starting the show. So I think at this point, we're just going to roll with it because I can see the venom in Matt's eyes. Matt, what's Nobody 2 all about?
Well, Hutch is back to doing what he does best, but it's putting a strange on his marriage, on his family life. Because he's always off killing people in brutal ways and not spending enough time with the family. So he decides that he's going to take his family back to a fun time that he had in his childhood at a kind of Lake Georgie type of tourist trap, right? Where it's got a water park, it's got all kinds of games and touristy stores, and he's going to go check it out with his family. Just like his dad, played by, why am I blanking on his name? Chris what?
Christopher Lloyd?
Yeah, Christopher Lloyd, thank you. And I didn't realize that RZA is supposed to be his brother as well. I just thought they were like partners or something.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that they were supposed to be brothers from the first film.
I think, too, I watched the first one about, 3 weeks ago or so, too, just to revisit it, because I remember enjoying it, so I thought, let's check it out again, and it's still good. It still holds up. It still feels like I don't know. I mean, not a lesser John. Well, yeah, I guess a lesser John Wick kind of film, right? And but it's enjoyable enough,
right?
But yeah, I don't remember seeing that anywhere in there either. I think even if I don't remember it now, but there even mention of the word brother, I kind of meant it more colloquially as friends, as they're that close. Not that they are actually
brothers,
I guess.
Yeah. Anyway, but I digress. But of course, as Hutch's want to do, trouble finds him, even if he's not trying to find trouble, although that may be up for debate. And he gets into it with a crazy Sharon Stone, which I saw in the opening credits, but it took until like the last 15 minutes of the movie to realize who that was.
Yeah, same here. I had forgotten that she was in this, and then in the beginning, her character Lindina is our arch bad guy, right? And it is. Listen, Stone's having a blast in this film, and good for her. I'm happy she's enjoying herself. So that's it. And I will start this, Matt, by saying I love and will always love Bob Odenkirk. All right, the man really can't do no wrong for me, and even with, I would say, Nobody 2, because I just find him an enjoyable presence. One of the things I liked about Nobody is him playing basically a bit against type.
Sure.
And that's what kind of made the film endearing and fun to watch. And him coming back to this Hutch character, this government assassin, is okay. I mean, I guess the question you always ask, Matt, does this sequel justify itself, independent of the desire to make more money?
Yeah, I would have to say no. I think part of the charms of the first one is seeing him kind of build up to being nobody, right? This stone cold killer, and he may have lost a step, but he slowly kind of gets back into it, right? With a bunch of fits and starts, and you get the kind of idea that this is kind of barely suppressed rage and coming to live this life that he's forced to live, right? In this one, he's basically fully formed, right? And it doesn't have the same charms to it. I think they go for bigger action sequences, right? And I think overall they're relatively entertaining, but at the risk of being a stick in the mud, I kind of just was asking myself, why? Why does this exist? Because it doesn't have the kind of undercurrent of what made the first one, pretty enjoyable.
Yeah, it's like Temu John Wick, right? The Amazon knockoff there if you want to buy stuff that's really cheap.
Sure.
And it does feel like that all the way through. And I have to say, Timo Tianto, who directed this film, he also we got a little flack on YouTube back in the day, too, for that episode, The Night Comes For Us, when we were kind of like underwhelmed by it, and a lot of people loved that film. Of course, we were probably still, even though it was 2018, I think we were still always kind of high on The Raid, kind of had setting that kind of bar, right? And then the John Wick franchise as well. And then we caught up with his film from last year, The Shadow Strays, as well, which, again, underwhelming, I think. I think the problem I have with Timo is that he knows how to frame and shoot an action scene, though I will say, clearly, I don't know if it's the editing style or the way he shoots it, but look like we're cutting frames out of some of the fight sequences to kind of get a hyperkinetic, hyperactive feel to them. And it's okay. That's fine. I mean, it's trying to relay some type of intensity, but that whole style of shooting kind of action is, I'm getting tired of it. And it doesn't really add anything to it. It becomes more just a dangling keys, kind of look at me type of a shiny object than it is some revelatory, fantastic new way to shoot an action scene. But the fight scenes are entertaining enough, though I think mostly uninspired. And the film itself is kind of a retread of the first film, too, independent of the personal growth of Odenkirk's Hutch kind of becoming again who he is, that revitalizes his family and his marriage and all that other stuff. And I just continue to be unmoved by Timo's films. And I agree with you, Matt, that it just doesn't... For me, I think it's just a wrap for Hutch. We apparently really have nowhere to go with these characters. Even though they try and insert some new dimensions to Connie Nielsen's character as his wife, that maybe she has a secret past we don't know about either, right? Which just feels kind of like, I don't know, lazy's not the right term, but it just kind of haphazard and just not particularly inspired, which I think really is my issue with the whole film. Even to, like, it includes a really dreadful cover of Ring of Fire that is it's just really worsened by just how lazy a needle drop it is. Just the song itself, including it would be, but then this really kind of bad cover version of it too is just even worse, and it's just emblematic for me of the entire film. Just uninspired and with half-hearted humor, and just overall basically a disappointment. I did like some of the action stuff. I love Bob, but overall, well, where is it? Where's my little clip, Matt? Here it is.
Not a fan.
Not a fan.
Yeah, like you said, I really enjoy Bob Odenkirk. Ever since Mr. Show, he's been somebody who has been a delight for me, even when he rarely shows up in these little bit parts and things like that. But the kind of gimmick of the first one has worn off, and it's not even, I can't even say it's worn thin. It's basically worn off, right? So, I don't know. Bob, I love you, but it's just not for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know what else to really say about it, Matt. I'm sitting on a C- for Nobody 2, and I'm probably being a little generous just because of my affection for Bob.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the scene of the arcade was fun.
Yeah,
I like that scene. when the bad guy kind of slaps the back of his daughter's head, and then his look, and then he goes, you know what? I left my I can't remember. I left my wallet. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm going to be a little nicer to it. I'm going to give it a C. I mean, I don't... It's milquetoast enough where I can't really hate it, so I'm not...
Yeah.
I think maybe a C- is a little too harsh.
Yeah, you're right about that, but I'm just not a very forgiving mood lately, that's all. I love you, Bob.
Fair enough.
Let's see what happens next, I guess, for you. Mm-hmm. What about Sharon Stone? Did you like Sharon Stone's crazy scene-chewing, scene-devouring performance as our Heavy?
Not really. I mean, it was okay. I mean, I'm glad she got some work, and I'm glad she seems to be having fun. But yeah, I didn't really sell it to me as like some stone cold killer. Haha.
I did enjoy Colin Hanks as the corrupt cop.
Yeah, that's a little playing against type, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's just say yeah a bunch of times. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not much else to say, folks. If you had a chance to see Nobody 2, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe Timo is a misunderstood genius, and I don't get it. I don't get it.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Won't be the last. Feedback at thefirstrun.com. Matt, I just want to touch briefly. Did you hear about my boy Chris Pratt?
Talking about the allergy to Trump that we all have? That even if he did something good? Oh, okay.
Not just that.
Oh, okay.
He goes on Club Random, Bill Maher's podcast. There's a time I thought Bill Maher was hilarious where I would download. I couldn't afford HBO, so I would download, but they would do real time in a podcast format.
Sure.
So I would listen to that every week, and I was all excited about it. And boy, what a crank that guy is. And so Pratt goes on his Club Random podcast and starts talking about how basically our hatred, I shouldn't say some people's hatred of Trump is so bad that, then other people get kind of caught in the wake of that who don't deserve it. Mm-hmm. Like his extended family member, because remember, he's married into a Kennedy family now.
Sure.
With RFK Jr.
Okay.
Because he's doing really good work.
Right.
Shut the fuck up, Chris Pratt. You have no idea what the hell you're talking about. Mm-hmm. That's one of the things. In fact, you can look it up online. John Oliver just did a whole segment on MAHA, Make America Healthy Again.
Okay.
And the one thing that frustrates me so much about it is that there are things that they talk about that I am 100% in on, that I agree with entirely, right? That we should try and do. But they're going about it the entirely wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
Like taking it as a win that Coca-Cola is now using cane sugar.
Right.
Or that the I know I'm going to get it wrong. Let me see. I'm going to look it up real fast because I thought I'd remember it, but I don't. Is it Steak Shack or Shack Steak or Steak and Shake?
Okay.
Is going to beef tallow for their oil for their fries. Another win for Ma. No, eating fries is not healthy for you. Okay. But it's just, I'd love to if you ever see when Steak and Shake, one of the ads they did when they switched to beef tallow. I swear to God, man, it's like legit Nazi font they use for like the promotion. Look it up. It's insane.
All right.
Anyway, Pratt has no idea what he's talking about, as usual. And I mean, that guy, granted, I think if I understand too, he's got a kid with special needs.
Right.
I'm tired of him. I am really tired of him. I know James Gunn thinks that he's a great guy at heart, in his heart. Then he's hopelessly naive about things. And it's just enough, Chris. Just shut up. Shut up.
Fair enough. It's funny. It's funny that you bring that up because it's like the second time this week that I've heard, in like a week that I've heard somebody defending RFK Jr. and I just had to kind of sit there and like, just smile and nod. It'll be over soon. Just let it go.
All right, fine. No, that's not why anybody listens to this show. Both of you. So I appreciate you.
To hear a bunch of old man liberals rant about stuff.
Oh God. Speaking of which, this seems perfectly to fit, though, what we're about to talk about next, which is Ari Aster's Eddington. We are both, I think this is fair to say both? I think both. Big fans of Hereditary and Midsommar.
I mean, using the term fan loosely. I mean, they're movies that I never want to watch again. I think that they're very well made. I
don't have any Hereditary tattoos or Midsommar... beanie caps, little spinning propeller caps or anything, walking around raising a banner all the time. No. But two very well-made horror films. Beau's Afraid, I think, is so self-indulgent and not terribly good. So we're back now with Eddington, and we'll see how that goes. Here's a clip.
Is it worth it to combat a virus that isn't even here at the cost of being at war with your neighbors and your family? Because that's what community is, isn't it? It's a family, okay? Because you can ruin a man's day, or you can do the right thing, and you can be kind, and you can free his heart. We need to free each other's hearts. And that's why I'm running for mayor. Mayor of Eddington.
Did he just say what I think he said?
I have served this county as sheriff for 7 years, and it has been my honor, and I would be honored to serve you as mayor.
Matt, I gave Beau's Afraid a B+.
Did you?
You gave it a B.
We're a couple of hacks.
Because clearly I have since soured a bit on that film. I'm curious what I said about it. I'm so pretentious. I'll bet you that was all about that. It was like me saying how this artistic endeavor as he tries and examines his relationship he has with his mother and all the, all that stuff, right? God, I'm such a, All right. Well, speaking of which, Eddington.
Yes.
Eddington. What is Eddington about? So, Joaquin Phoenix, or as I called him for the first, I think, 10 years of his career, when I was very young, Joaquin, is a sheriff in a town called Eddington in New Mexico. And the mayor is Pedro Pascal. And Pedro's more your typical kind of lefty liberal guy, right? Big on the COVID precautions and all that. And then Joaquin is more on the traditional right side of things and talking about personal freedom and not having to wear a mask and all that kind of stuff. So he decides to run against Pascal, who's up for re-election as mayor. And then basically as kind of COVID split people apart, as it starts to tear apart this small town, particularly Joaquin Phoenix, his life starts to fall apart. In this film, he has a big fight with his wife. Things go really even worse with him and Ted Garcia, who is Pascal's character. There's also some side characters involved with other things as well. But I don't know, Matt. That's basically it, right? I feel like I need more time on this because the first half hour of this film, I was angry at it. I was thinking, like, my notes are like, my problem may be that I don't have a sense of humor about some of this stuff, as it's like a tragic, gigantic link in the chain of how we got to where we are today. I'm like, who is this film for? Because it's an independent movie, which is not going to get mass theatrical attention. And I will say, I think a lot of independent movie film buffs, people like that, tend to probably fall more on the liberal side if you really engage with the arts, like that, right? You tend to be, I think, a little more progressive, a little more left of center. Educated people tend to be more aware and more educated, as I sound like an idiot, about politics and stuff. And I appreciate that, even sides you agree with can be crazy at times, or using their own politics or their own beliefs, or exploiting other people's beliefs for their own good. I'm right in the middle of Andor, which may be one of the best depictions of how a fascist regime comes to power that I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
But the film really just was making me very angry in the beginning, because I think part of the problem is that I don't think Aster has the ability to manage the humor that I think he's trying to go for. I want to be very clear that this is a black comedy, okay? There are occasionally some funny moments in this film, but I don't think that he is able to master or handle the humor with the story he's trying to tell. I think he undercuts himself when he tries to inject humor into the absurdity of this entire story. I just don't think he's deft enough to handle the satire, the satirical work he's trying to produce here. Now, I will say I think the film gets better as it goes. And when we focus on the relationships of these people, I found it more engaging. And I liked it more by the time it ended. And now that I've gotten 2 or 3 days away from it, I've been I actually dreamt about it the night I watched it. And then I'm turning the corner on it a little bit, and I feel like maybe I need to watch it again. What are your thoughts, Matt?
Yeah, so for the first 45 minutes of this movie, it's kind of unbearable, in the sense that you've, as somebody who's lived through it, and granted, I don't live in a red state, so I guess there's that, but just kind of reliving all of that stuff around masks and, personal freedoms, and they have asthma so they can't wear one, kind of thing, and you can't stop them from coming into a store, blah blah blah. A mandate's not a law, right? But I guess wasn't sure really what the point of this was, right? And then they get into George Floyd, right, and the kind of the implication that the young people are kind of this performative acting, right, and that there's this idea of, if you're not fitting in with the mold of what they think that you should be, then you might as well not be doing it at all, kind of thing. And, what's the old adage, the big problem with people who are progressive, that it's, if it's not perfect, you should just throw the whole thing out, right? You have to be completely right the whole way down, which, okay, that's an interesting take, right? I mean, obviously there's some truth to that, but I'm trying to figure out where does Aster lie in all this, right? And then as we kind of get more into it, I think, he's talking more, I think the point of the film is not really about any of those things so much as it is about the tech companies and social media and how it's gotten us to where we're at, right? And it's amplified voices that, shouldn't have been amplified, and it's kind of all eating away at our brains and kind of making us more tribal. And, it kind of comes into sharp relief there at the end, right? The tech companies, and there's always this kind of undercurrent. They always seem to be talking about, the servers and they're giving up all this space and natural resources for all that stuff. So I feel like, to me, that's what the movie is. He's trying to give you this warning, or this idea of how, okay, if you want to know how we got here, here it is. We've let this genie out of the bottle, and it's only going to get worse. And here it is from 2020 that kind of really showed, I hesitate to say the tipping point, but where really things started to come to a head, and we really kind of ended up where we're at. I'm with you. I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about this film. It's definitely got his trademark, it's uncomfortable watching it, but maybe it's uncomfortable for a different reason than his horror films are, right? But it's still something that's a challenge to engage with. And I'm not sure that for this type of film, or what he's trying to say, that's the right approach. But maybe that's the only type of film he can make.
Could very well be. That's an excellent point, Matt. Yeah, I will say, I think on a side note with COVID too, I think you're entirely right. He sets the film in 2020, but it's clearly about kind of what's happening today. I think that's very much the case.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if I need to come back and watch it again. It felt just like what happens. I get aggravated when I watch things and I think this happens in any field, regardless if it's politics, if it's science, if it's you're a firefighter or a comic book artist. When you watch and see things depicted on the screen that you know how they work and how it happens, and you know that's just not the case, what they're showing you, it's aggravating. It's annoying, right?
Right.
And I think I have struggled with people who will make grand political points about things that sometimes don't always appear to know what they're talking about. Now, I appreciate the fact that you could be being presented an alternative view or alternative side of things. I just felt like the beginning of this film that he just doesn't... He's a man trying to interpret what's around him and provide us the story, but he doesn't understand the key drivers of what that is and why we are where we are today, even though he's trying to show us. I don't know. Like I said, maybe I need to rewatch it too. Maybe I was just... The film was so effective and so good that it was just picking at me, the whole time.
Off-putting.
Which would make then him, make it a successful exercise by Aster. So...
Yeah.
I think this will be one of those things that I sit back and I will watch again at some point down the road, I think. I think it's crazy enough, particularly at the end. Like I said, it redeemed itself for me. By the end of the film, I was, and also, too, I like how he leaves it open that our violence and our madness and our vengeance may not even be over yet, right? I mean, it is open-ended in that capacity.
Right.
Even though some people get some type of justice, there's still more to be had, perhaps, or more just violence. Matt, I'm sitting at a B at Eddington right now because I don't know where else to go with it.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to go a little lower. I'm going to say a B minus. I'm with you. I don't know where to sit with it, but I could easily on maybe another viewing or, spending more time with it, that I could push it to either side of that. So I feel like it's like right on the cusp, and I'm not quite sure where it wants to be, but it's teetering on that edge. So I think that's where I
think that's a great way to describe it, Matt. I think that's smart. So if you got a chance to see Eddington, it is available to rent or purchase digitally now. Also, A24 has put up on their website pre-orders. You can buy it in Blu-ray or 4K as well. And I believe it will show up on HBO and HBO Max probably within the next month or so. Feedback at thefirstrun.com. Matt, what's up next week on the big show? Maybe, probably.
Well, we're trying to see highest to lowest, but it doesn't look like me in the rural New England is going to be able to catch it. So I think our second option was... What is our second option?
It's Honey, Don't, I believe, Ethan Coen's film.
Oh, right. Is it the fact that they've split up as a pair, as a creative pair, that is why it's been so disappointing?
Makes you wonder. Lately? I think they're back together for something else, though, right? Aren't they working on something together again? I don't know. It's early reviews are not great, but we'll see. Yeah, is it quality? Right? Is that what the issue is? Is this muse just not working out for him? That's interesting.
I don't know. Yeah. But I always was super excited to see a Coen's film. At the very least, I figured they would be interesting. And this one, with the exception of maybe like The Lady Killers or something like that, I don't know. These last couple have not been that exciting, so I'm a little nervous what that means.
Oh, I want to tell you too, Matt. Crisis averted. I was able to obtain my copy of the special edition of Arrows, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly in 4K. Because they're basically like sold out almost everywhere. Though I think Orbit may have some that they'll be putting up on their site once their pre-orders are all sent out. So you may want to stock some of the sites like Orbit or Diabolic or Atomic, I think, too. Atomic Video may have some. But keep your eyes peeled, folks. But they are releasing standard editions in the next couple months. So you can pick those up.
Right. Then. I know. I think I came to a piece of epiphany or like ultimate truth with myself, Chris. Haven't been into this house, right? So
I tried, but you won't let me in.
That's true. I wouldn't let you in at the door, right? I have a wall, I have a room that I call the library, right? I put in these big built-in shelves and I had, all these books in it. And I looked at it and I said, you know what? I'm going to pull all these books that I don't want anymore, probably hundreds of books I pulled off this thing. And I said, I'm going to clear off some shelves and I'm going to put up all of my Blu-rays and 4K, so I have them there and I can just pull them off the shelf, much easier to find. Great idea. I only got through the E's after doing all that, and I realized to myself that I'm looking at these boxes and boxes of books, and I still have boxes and boxes of Blu-rays. that I don't need any more stuff. I may actually have to stop
Ooh.
buying stuff because I literally have no place to put it.
I have that issue spacing wise. That's why I have my binders. I keep everything in binders here. And I was able to buy a new bookcase from IKEA back a little while ago. Ooh, where is it? There. But yeah, no. I try to condense stuff too. Like I have my Chasing Amy on Blu-ray. I have my Chasing Amy DVD from Criterion, so I combine them into one case. And I'm looking to do that with a lot of my stuff, like the Halloween reboot. Right, I'm going to put those all in one case. I'm going to be kind of condensing all of that stuff to try and save room. But yeah, you're right. It is a bit of a challenge.
It really is a wake-up call where you have all of this, you have all of these things, you know, all of these shelves, and like you literally cannot put another thing on it. And like, what am I supposed to do? I've
thought about shifting to more digital stuff too, if it's not something that's like that deserves to be in a physical library or could go away at some point, right? And I download them too. I buy it on iTunes, I do download the file, and then I have it backed up on an external hard drive, and I have it backed up online. So if I lose something, I'll still be able to download it at some point. But
it just feels like but when you get it on physical media, regardless, and granted, I'm very picky, maybe more picky than you are, but it feels like you're curating something, like you're holding on to a copy of something that could disappear, right? And that's, you know, partly why you do it, right? But I say all this because as soon as I got done, I went online and I found like this, you know, this like 2 foot by 5 foot like spinning tower thing made out of wood. It'll hold like, you know, 1,000, you know, Blu-rays, and it spins around. So I'm like, I should get that and just put that somewhere in the house. And then once I fill that up, then hopefully I'll be dead by the time I fill that thing up. So we'll
fantastic. All right, folks. I think that'll be it for the big show this week. Thank you so much for listening. And don't forget, you can find us on Instagram and YouTube. Blue Sky, I'm there, as well as the show account. And then head over to Apple Podcasts. Give us a review to help other people find the show. Go to thefirstrun.com. You can find archives of all the old shows. The report card. It's report card, I think, updated about 2 weeks ago. So it's pretty up to date if you want to see what grades we gave movies for the last few years. And there's a little player there as well. So you can just hit play, and it'll start cycling through all the episodes. And that will be that, I guess. So in the meantime, we're going to take an extended break. We love you all very much. Please take care of yourselves, and we will see you soon.
Thank you super duper very much.